This is where the magic sauce is. Set up your environment to have you succeed. This is entirely a function of how you run it. Dude, you will be shocked at how the children respond. Creates just like the best experience possible for kids and for coaches. This is the training for really just a camp days flow. We're going to go over 2 distinct days. In this lesson, you'll not only learn kind of what to expect from a camp day, but also how to establish the kind of relationship between a coach and a student that is what every coach wants out of a class. And what I mean by that is we've all had classes where there's a student who we don't necessarily get along with very well, or maybe they really don't understand parkour, they're not interested in learning parkour, and they can be difficult to deal with. Now imagine 20 like that at a camp. Through working with one of these students over a long period of time, usually a coach can transform that experience and have this kid really discover the value of parkour and want to participate in the activities. The coach looks forward to seeing this person, but that kind of relationship usually takes quite a while to develop and build. That shift from I'm kind of hesitant about class, I don't really listen to my instructor, I don't work well within a group, to, oh, yep, I come in ready to learn. I am here to do parkour. I'm excited to see my instructor. I help other students listen and manage the group. Like, that shift can happen very, very quickly, and you can set that tone right away with the student. And so you should expect to learn how to do that a bit out of today's session as well. And this structure largely as well, you should all know, is designed to equip you with some very powerful tools to manage behavior all day. Now you might be wondering, well, how do we do that? So what we're going to do is we're just going to go through each section. I'm going to talk about what it is, what the intention of each section really is and what it provides, and then also what the lead instructor will be doing and what the assistant instructor will be doing. And this is going to, believe it or not, this is going to, if you follow this structure, oh my gosh, this makes camps so much more fun and easy to run than classes, if this is done correctly, okay? So this first section here, this check-in activity has basically 2 leads, and I'll explain what I mean by that. So this first lead here is leading a game called 4 Corners. And this is like, as students are arriving into the gym, there you are, it's 8:50 in the morning, and students are starting to show up at the door. And the very first thing that happens is they walk in and they are greeted by someone. So there's 2 leads. The first lead is out in the front by the front desk. They have basically one job: to welcome the students, tell them where to set their backpacks down and kind of just where to set their stuff, and then direct them out to the lead coach that's on the floor. They also answer any questions that the parent has. The second lead coach is running this game 4 Corners right here. So 4 Corners is just 4 dots on the floor, and the coach is in the middle, and they're spinning around without looking, and they're basically going to stop and point at one of the 4 corners. And whichever corner they point to, all of the students at that corner are out for the round. If they're out, they can sit down in a designated spot, or they can kind of just hang out in a designated spot. And then the goal is to be the last person basically that's in the game. And the students can switch out being the person in the middle as well. And so as the students are coming in, they're getting welcomed into this game that's happening. They know exactly where to put their stuff, and their parents get the questions answered, and the coach can lead the game. So that is happening as students are coming in, and that can be extended to basically be as long as you need. You can look at the list and say, oh, we're still waiting on 10 kids and it's already 9:10. Well, let's extend this. Let's go ahead and just extend this game. And you want to schedule who is doing what before this starts. You're going to say, oh, you know what? My name's Aiden. I'm going to be I'm going to set up for the game today. Okay. So that means Michael, you're going to be the guy that's welcoming the parents, telling them where to set their backpacks down, answering any questions. You know, that may also be an opportunity to see who's shy and who's like emotionally maybe a bit nervous to be at the camp. That's your first time to interact with that. So that's really important to just notice, like you basically get kind of a feel for it. Now, I want to say one other thing. This is important. Because you haven't gone over the expectations yet of how to participate in the gym, you want to make sure the gym is set up in a way that they are not invited to do anything dangerous. You know, you wouldn't have blocks like leading up to like the highest obstacles for them to jump off of on the same floor that you're leading this game. You would make sure maybe you even have, and I do this, you have panel mats set up that kind of block off the sections you don't want them to go, you know, so that way it's, hey, as this game's running, they're just contained on the spring floor on this one area. And you've done this setup before 8:50. Maybe you got there at 8:30 and you've done this thinking. Okay. So it's important that happens, or else, you know, even just, I'm going to say this is important. Even just 2 or 3 kids that are going off and like climbing on something tall or balancing on like rails away from where you can see them, that begins to erode and chip at the relationship that the kids have with you as a coach and the respect that they have for the space and staying with the group, the etiquette of staying with the group and participating with the group. It all begins to erode if they're not managed during this section. So set up your environment to have you succeed. Okay, that's really important for this as well. You should be looking for that. All right, so let's say, boom, you look at the list of kids that are at the camp. Almost all of them are there. It's like 9:15, 9:10. Great. Now we're going to start our name game. Name game makes or breaks your camp. You know, usually you're going to have like one 13 or 14-year-old kid in your camp that will not want to do this. They will be too cool for this. And you may also have kids that are really shy that don't want to do this. I will tell you right now, if you say anything like, come on, guys, we have to do this so we can get to the fun stuff, you have just absolutely killed this section of the camp. You have killed it. So do not do that. How you run this section of the camp really sets a precedent. And so this is the name game. This is the first opportunity for everyone to get to know everyone. And this is important. And I will speak to the kids just like I'm speaking right now. I'll say, okay, everyone, hey, we just played a game. Now it's time to do the name game. And guys, circle up. I need everyone's attention. This is really important. This is really important because this is the first time that we get to know your name. Now look at the instructors. It's me, Christopher, and it's you, Noah. Noah's the instructor over there. Hey, Noah. Everyone see Coach Noah, see Coach Christopher. Now look around. Look at everybody around. How many of you are there? There's 22 of you, and there's 2 of us. So here's my request for this whole section. Please do not speak when anyone else is speaking, because we want to do our best to learn your names, because we want you to know that that's important to us while you're here. And it's important to you that you know our names and each other's names, because we're going to be together all week. So just for this section, and this section will only take a few minutes, everyone. It will only take a few minutes, but for these few minutes, it's important that you really give us your full attention and you listen to someone when they're saying their name. Am I making sense? Nod your head if I'm making sense. And then they'll nod their head. You'll look around and you just got their word, their buy-in that they'll participate in this with you and that it's important and you think it's important. And then you go through and you're like, all right, now you're going to come up with a name of an animal that fits the first letter of your names. So for me, I'm Twistifer. I'm Coach Twistifer. I'm going to do Twistifer the Tiger. So I'm going to say my name, Twistifer Tiger. Everyone else say my name with me, Twistifer Tiger. And then you would do this and they would say Twistifer Tiger. And you say, great, thank you. Now let's go straight to the left. And you go around the circle and everyone says everyone's name. And then at the end, if you'd like, you can challenge everyone and say, who thinks they can get everybody's name? And if you can memorize everyone's name, which you should, if you're a good coach, you should be able to do this. If you can memorize everyone's name in that one session, you can basically show off and be like, that's 22 names right there that I just memorized. And that'll also go a long way later, and you'll see why. So that's the name game. That's like 10 minutes. That's a really great icebreaker. And then afterwards, you have everybody walk on over to the welcome area and sit down. And this is off the spring floor. All right, I see a hand. Go ahead, Nathan.
Thanks. Something that I've run into is with name games, it can feel like either one that it like drags on a little bit, like maybe kids are hesitating or like we aren't as experienced, so maybe we feel uncomfortable about it. So 10 minutes seems like a short amount of time. I think it's possible, but I'm just, I guess, expressing like a past
absolutely
experience of that. So what do you have for like tips, advice about that? Like how do you get that moving along? And
yeah,
of course,
so
keeping the energies kind of personally.
I love that you asked that question because it's something that everybody deals with, which is the name game drags. And this is entirely a function of how you run it. And it's also a function of your teamwork. We're operating under the assumption right now that there will be at least 2 coaches at each camp. For certain sections of the camp, there are 2 leads on the section. Now, you'll see lead over here in this section right here. Let's say it's me and you, Nathan, running the camp. This would look like I would put Chris and Nathan in this box right here. And I would do the same thing for this one. And that shows that during these sections, it requires our full attention for both of us. And so for the name game, we would have established previously, hey, if there's anyone that's shy, first of all, you and I are positioned so that I'm on one side of the circle and you're on the other side of the circle. And basically, we are facilitating this game. We don't have like our hands in our pockets or crossed, and we're not just like waiting for the kid to go. There's not like long, awkward silences or pauses really, because we're filling up that space. If I pass it to the left of me, I'm like, I'm Twistifer Tiger. Now let me hear you say it. Twistifer Tiger. Okay, but this time that was good. But this time I want to hear everybody in the circle say it. Twistifer Tiger. Twistifer Tiger. Awesome. Thank you. Let's keep that up now. Go ahead. And then the person next to me will be like, Lizard Liam. And everyone will be like, Lizard Liam. Nice job, Liam. Good job. All right. How about you? Alligator Aiden. Alligator Aiden. And then if you get to someone and they don't have a name for it or they're shy, you can say, oh, and it's okay. It's okay that you don't have one yet. What's your name? Maddie. Oh, okay, Maddie. Well, can I suggest a name to you? Yes. How about Monkey Maddie or Manatee Maddie? Yeah, I like Manatee. Okay, Manatee Maddie. You ready, everyone? Manatee Maddie. Manatee Maddie. Nice job, Maddie. Good job. Okay, let's go to the next person. So full are facilitating that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if the other coach is like noticing that whoever started or is leading it originally, it's slowing down, that they can step in and kind of keep that energy moving and bounce it back and forth like a game of tennis, sir.
Very good. Yeah, exactly. And you can hear as I'm speaking, like that's the energy that you're approaching this with, where you can hear, hey, there's nothing wrong if you don't have one. Can I suggest it? Oh, thank you so much. Nice job. I'm acknowledging you for just accepting the suggestion. It's a time where you're just rewarding behavior. And this is important, guys. It is socially risky. Parkour is all about risk and reward. We teach them risk and reward. The name game is their very first chance at being socially risky with everyone by speaking and being a little bit silly, and that's dangerous. That's very dangerous socially, to be a little bit silly. And so, how you run this is really important. And you show that it's okay to be silly during this time. So moving on, this next section, this is usually what the camp director would run right here. And these are called expectations. Now, if I'm going to be on one of your camps coming up, which I most likely will be, I will run this section. And this section is the most important section. Okay, so I'm going to spend a little bit more time on this section than I would on other sections, because this is where the magic sauce is. If you don't do anything else right in your camp but this section, then your camp will largely be one of the easiest events that you've ever managed before. Okay, and this is the welcome. Now, it's important to note that if a student misses this section of the camp, it becomes very difficult to manage them for the rest of the week. And they basically are introduced into a different culture than the other students. So you want to make sure the majority, if not all, of the students that are going to be there for the camp are here at this welcome section. Okay, you want to extend the other two activities. Those two activities are basically there to just allow everyone to show up in time for this. Okay, so this is where you have everybody come off of the floor and they go over to the welcome area. And this welcome area is most likely, for the Murrieta location, it's the wooden floor where the tables are. For the Loma Linda location, this could be the spring floor, or this could be the party room. For the Riverside location, this would be off of the spring floor as well. And this would be on the black floor. This next section here, this is, like I said, the most important section. How you run this section dictates that shift that I was talking about at the beginning of the call, where they relate to you with respect. Everything that you say is really respected. And what it also does is it also establishes a rapport between the coach and the student that allows you to basically have them treat you like a human being, and develops like some good respect between the two of you. It makes them engage in the activities more, knowing that, the coaches are putting this on for us, and like how we have the coaches have a good time as we participate fully, and so they really will get this if you do this correctly. So I sit everybody down and I establish right away that listening to what I have to say is very important during this section. So I will look at the whole group and I'll say, all right, everyone, I'll know you're listening when your eyes are on me and your body language is also showing me that you're listening. And that means that your eyes are on me, you're facing towards me, your body's facing towards me. You don't have anything that you're playing with or fidgeting with. And I can see that you are here to learn and ready to learn from me. And I'll wait until I see that, and I'll start acknowledging kids as well. This is another tip or strategy, tactic, if you will. I'll start looking around and say, thank you so much. Thank you so much for showing me that you're listening, Aiden. I really, really appreciate that. That shows me as your coach that you're ready to learn. And that was so fast of you. That was super fast. Oh, thank you so much, Thomas. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate you giving me your attention. And we're just going to wait for everybody to give me your attention. Oh, awesome. Thank you so much, Nathan. Awesome, guys. All right, we're almost there. Waiting. I need your eyes on me. I need your body facing me. So that really is the tempo and the pacing that I would do that. And I would wait until I have everyone's full attention. Once you have the group's full attention, you say, thank you so much for your full attention, everyone. Now, that was fast, and I really appreciate that. When you give me your attention in that way, that really makes me feel respected as your instructor. I super appreciate that. And I'm going to request that you keep this level of attention just for this section. Right after this section, we are going to get warmed up and then do a jam. But before we get into that, we have to have this conversation. This conversation is very important. And so that's why I need your focus in the way that you're giving it to me right now. So thank you for giving it to me like how you are right now. This is exactly what I want. And we're only going to talk for a few minutes like this, okay? So let's get into this. The first thing I want to talk about is integrity. What is integrity? Someone raise your hand and tell me what integrity is. And I'll actually take this right now on the call. Give me your definition of integrity. Michael, Aiden, Thomas, or Nathan, what is integrity for you? What is integrity? Who will share? Yeah, go ahead, Nathan.
I relate it to like your word or like what you've given it to. So
yeah,
what I've said I will do, you know.
Very good. What you said you will do, what you've given your word to. Very good. Who else? Who else wants to say something about integrity here? That was very good, Nathan. I really appreciated that. That was awesome. Who else? Michael, Aiden, Thomas, what do you know about integrity? What do you know about integrity?
I agree with Nathan.
Okay, Aiden agrees with Nathan. Thank you, Aiden. Go ahead, Thomas.
Yeah, I think it's standing by your word and then staying consistent with that. Like not just standing by your word once, but like also staying consistent with your word. You know,
I love that you said consistent, Thomas. That's perfect. And consistency is important because we're going to be together for an entire week. So the reason why integrity is up here is because we have to know you're going to do what you said you would do when you said you would do it, even when no one is looking. Because look, it's just me and Coach Nathan at this camp, and there's 20 of you. And so we're not always going to be able to see what you're doing. And so we just have to trust. We have to trust that you're going to do what you said you would do. All right. Now, that was great. I really appreciate everybody that shared. Thank you so much. Aiden, Thomas, and Nathan. Thank you, guys. Now, how about this next value? Now, this is something that we're practicing. We're practicing all of our values here. How about this next one, compassion? What is compassion? Who knows what this word compassion means? Who knows what compassion means? I know you guys know what compassion means. Come on, who will share? Who will share what compassion means?
I think it's just like caring for others in general.
Yes. Yeah, very good. It is caring for others in general. I love that you said that. And that's exactly what it means here is we have to care for other people at this camp. At this camp, like we have to look out for each other and care for each other and make sure that everyone stays safe around us. That's kind of our job and something that we'll practice here together. So nice job, Thomas. I love that you said that. Anyone else want to add on to what Thomas said? Anyone else?
It's just kindness to yourself and others.
Yeah, very good. I love that you said that, Michael, because kindness to ourselves, that can look like a lot of different things here. Now, you'll look around the gym, guys, and you'll see a lot of like places up high. I want you to know that one of the ways that you can show kindness to yourself, like Michael just said, is if you are up somewhere high or you are trying something scary and you feel a lot of fear in your body, walking away from what you're experiencing and taking some time to calm down, that's one of the best ways to show kindness to yourself. Or if you see someone else that is scared or maybe feels pressured to do something, telling them that they don't have to do that right now and that they can walk away from that, that's a way that you can also show kindness to other people. So I love that you said that, Michael. And Thomas, I love what you said as well. Thank you so much for sharing, guys. So we only have two more. The next one is trust. What does trust mean to you? Who knows what trust means, or who has an example of what trust is for them, or why is trust important? Who knows? Who will share? What is trust to you?
Trust is just believing what the other person is saying, and vice versa, that they believe what you're saying. They believe in your word.
Very good. Yeah, I love that you said that. And you can see in what you just said, Michael, trust and integrity they're kind of close together, right?
Yes.
Like, oh, I know that person's going to do what they said they would do. And Nathan, yeah. I see your hand. We'll go to you right after this. And everyone, I want you to know what Michael just said is really important, because at this camp, we will get to the most fun things that you want to do today, the games that you want to play and the skills that you want to learn. We can only get to that if the instructors can trust you with the equipment, trust that you're going to stay safe when we allow you to just play in the gym and go out and jam. So trust plays a big part in our relationship together as students and as instructors. Am I making sense? Okay, cool. All right. Yeah, go ahead, Nathan. What did you want to say?
I like, this might be a bit much, but trust is like a level of depth that you can have with your friends and peers. So, the more trust you have with someone, the more likely boundaries that you have maybe for strangers are kind of like lessened. And so you can really get to know and be with the person that's actually there. So it's like a deeper connection if you can establish that.
Yes, I love that you said that. I love that you said that, and it does make that available, that deeper connection, and that's the connection that you want with your students. And right. It's also
where the most fun happens.
Yes, exactly. It's where the most fun happens because it also makes available games like a chase tag, or dodgeball tag, or Enchanted Forest, or Space Cadets, or like games that require a lot more intellectual effort and trust and teamwork. You can really play those when you've established a lot of trust between yourself and the group. So thank you so much for sharing that. And I'm going through this right now with you guys as instructors, but also exactly how I go through it with the kids. This is exactly how I run it, so you can see it. And I'm treating you as both the kids in the camp and as the instructors, meeting you where you're at. But this is exactly how I would talk to them about this too. So thank you so much for sharing, both of you, Michael and Nathan. Is there anything anyone else wants to say about trust before we move on? Okay, great. All right, so our last one is focus. Now, for focus, here's what I'd like everyone to do. Everyone in the room, bring your eyes to the word focus. And I would be pointing at a whiteboard right now that has the word focus on it. And I would say, now bring your attention to the words that I'm saying. Now bring your attention to the space in between the words that I'm saying. After I talk, there are pauses. Bring your attention to those pauses between my words. And as you're doing that, keep looking at the letter F on focus. Really look at it. Now, everybody take a deep breath in, take a deep breath out. And then there's this stillness in the room. And I point to it and I say, now see that focus right there. You all just created that focus as a group. And in parkour, we do some dangerous activities today and through the week. And we may ask for your focus. If we ask for your focus ever, that is a good time to bring exactly that quiet space you just made with me right to the instructor. Show us that how fast you can bring that focus in. You guys just did it. That's a skill that you will learn. That's going to make it really important, especially when we do things like flips, especially when we do things like rail balance, especially when we do things like at height, when we're up high. That focus is really important. Are you understanding what I'm saying? Am I making sense? And nod your head if I'm making sense. And then they'll all nod their head. They'll say, yep, I get focused. And I'll say, okay, let's get right into the expectations. Now, expectations are different than rules because rules are things you have to follow. Expectations, what is an expectation? Who knows what an expectation is? What is that? And you can even share what is the difference between a rule and an expectation? Who knows what an expectation is? What is that? Who would like to share? Who will share? Who will share what an expectation is? Michael, Aiden, Thomas, Nathan. Go ahead, Aiden.
Maybe like a desired standard or goal to reach.
Yeah, I love how you said that. It is a standard. A standard is like the way things are normally done. And so I love that. I love that you use the word standard and a goal to reach. I like that too, because it's something we're working towards. And it doesn't mean that we won't mess up on these. I love that. You won't be punished when you're working towards a goal. You know what I mean? So I love how you said that. That is fantastic. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else want to share what an expectation is for them?
Yeah,
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, really, that really wrapped it together. Actually, I don't know if I have much more to say, but a rule is like don't push others is like just don't even try that. Like never even get to that point. But an expectation is like here's like what I am. Here's like how highly I like think of you guys as like capable of doing these things. So like let's achieve that together, and I'll remind you if it doesn't happen. But a rule is like let's never get there.
Yes, that's right. And Nathan, you're pointing to the relationship between us at this camp this week. Because if you go back to our values, it goes right back to our integrity, our trust together, our compassion for each other. We're relating to each other like, oh, you're going to act this way at this gym. And I can count on this from you. I can hear you saying that. You know what I mean? So thank you so much for sharing. That's super validating, exactly the conversation that we're in here together. Now, these are all to keep you safe. And these are all so that we can play games together, and the instructors are going to know that we don't have to micromanage you. We're not here to micromanage you. We're not here to get you in trouble. We don't want to have to watch every single thing that you're doing. We want you to just play in our gym and have a good time. And we want to know that you're safe doing that. Am I making sense so far? Okay, guys, awesome. We're almost finished with this, and then we're going to get warmed up and get right into the jam that we're going to do, which is just like open gym time so that you can play on anything that you'd like here, okay? All right, so the first one is run only during running activities. Everyone, this is important. There are rails in this gym that are very close to the ground. There are blocks that are very close to the ground. We will let you know where you can run or when you can run. Sometimes we're going to play games like tag, chase tag, if you've heard of that, or dodgeball tag, or some other games require running like shipwreck. So we'll let you know when it's time to run, but otherwise, please don't run. Don't run in our hallways. Don't run to the bathroom. And this is really to keep you safe. Now, everyone, if you have any questions about these expectations, I'm going to go fast. But if you have any questions, raise your hand and I will answer them, okay? So raise your hand if you have any questions about these expectations. Now, nod your head that you understand this expectation. Run only during running activities. Let me see everyone understands this. I'm going to go around the circle. Yep, I see Nathan. Yep, I see Aiden. Okay, Michael, Thomas, good. Thank you so much, guys. Yeah, awesome. Michael, did you have a question or are you just nodding your head?
Yeah, I was just nodding. I don't know if you actually wanted us to respond.
I love that. Yeah, no, that's great. And I'm talking to you. You can hear how I'm talking elicits a response from you. You're like, oh, shoot, should I react right now? He's talking directly to me. I'm talking to you like I would be talking to the students. And every single expectation I'm going over, I'm getting a verbal confirmation and I'm looking at them in the eye and making sure that they're agreeing to this. And it's not just, I'm not just talking in one ear and going out the other. Okay, thanks guys. Thank you so much. Okay, so that's to keep you safe. Now the next one is, everyone, did you bring a lunch today? You guys got lunch? Okay, yep, I see your lunches. No sharing food. This next one's really important. No sharing food. That's to keep you safe. Please do not offer anyone food. Don't offer the coaches food. And don't offer each other food, okay? All right, and even if you're siblings. Yeah. Okay, any questions about that? And they may have questions, but that's basically if they have any other further questions, it's about, making sure they don't get sick. The next one is, okay, this one's important now. Coach Nathan, how many years have you been doing parkour and also coaching parkour?
I started parkour in 2009, so 14-15 years, and I've been coaching since 2015 October, I believe. So
9 years. Yeah, so Coach Nathan has been practicing parkour for 15 years, coaching for 9. I've also been training for like close to 20 years, have been coaching for about 10 years. So between us, we have like 30 years of parkour experience and only 1 week with you. And this is the only time today that I'm going to ask this much attention from you, this much listening from you. Most of the time that I talk, I'm going to talk for 2 minutes and then I'm going to let you just play or practice what I want you to practice. Am I making sense? Okay, good. So when I do talk or when Coach Nathan does talk, please bring your full focus, just like we practiced, right to us, just like you're doing now. Just like you're doing now. I really appreciate that. And you guys will hear me during this section This is listed in a specific way so that I'm reminding them, reassuring them that this is going to be fast, but it's very important. And that when I talk, it's very important that they listen. And I'm constantly validating them and acknowledging them for doing that. All right. Now, the next one, guys, is this is a tool you have. Everyone here, you have a tool where you can scream really loud. And you know this scream I'm talking about. It's like, it's an ear-piercing scream. We're not going to do it right now, but you know which one I'm talking about. Please keep that in your toolkit for only if you get hurt. That is how you tell a coach you get hurt. Please do not use that scream unless you are hurt. If you are hurt, that is the time to use that scream, okay? If you use it any other time, we will stop what we are doing and we'll make sure that you're okay. Am I making sense? Okay. And you all agree, please you can cheer, you can go, woo, yeah, that was awesome. Cheer on your friends. That's great. Keep your screams to inside though, okay? Unless you get hurt. If you get hurt, you can scream. All right. Now, this next one, we're halfway done. Leave no trace. You didn't just come here to learn parkour as an athlete. You came here to learn parkour culture. Now, what is culture? Culture is the way a group behaves, a group of people in a community. Now, when you're learning parkour, you're joining a community of people that practice a sport. And when you are in that community, you act and behave a certain way. And one of the coolest ways that we do that is by this right here called leave no trace. Leave no trace is we pick up after ourselves and we leave absolutely no trace of us having been around. Now, for you guys, that looks like your backpacks. That looks like your water bottles. That looks like your lunches after you eat, any crumbs on the table, any wrappers, anything like that, you are putting that away. And I will tell you when we're practicing that, I'll say, okay, everyone, it's time to practice leave no trace. And we will not start the next activity until we've done leave no trace. Am I making sense so far? Any questions about leave no trace? Any questions? Okay. All right. That's awesome. Now, who has, and Aiden and Nathan, I can see you most clear. So please let me see just raise your hand. Who has been around a person that has made you feel really good about yourself? Let me see you raise your hand. That makes you feel like you're special, that you've accomplished something. Okay, good. So you have experienced that before. Now I call that being a friend. I try to do that for my friends. I try to make them feel good about themselves. I try to make them feel included. Who's been around someone that has made you feel maybe anxious, maybe like sad, maybe a bit scared? Who's ever been around someone like that? Maybe made you feel, upset about something. Okay, good. So I've also been someone, I have made someone feel sad before. I have hurt someone's feelings on accident too. And that's, more so like being a bully. Now, sometimes we don't mean to be a bully. So what we ask here is this whole week we're together. Let's just try to be friends together and not a bully towards each other. Let's all try to be friends. Now, let me just see you nod your head if you're going to be a friend this week to each other, not a bully. Okay, very good. Thank you so much, guys. Let's practice that, okay? And the coaches will remind you, we'll say, hey, are you being a friend or are you being a bully? Now, this next one is called use bugs and wishes. Now, Michael and Thomas, everywhere you go in life, there are going to be people. There are going to be human beings at your school, at your job, when you get older, with your friend groups. There's going to be people. And sometimes they are going to behave and act in a way that you don't like. And so you better get interested in how to talk to people when you're upset. Now, everyone here, anytime that you get upset, I want you to use a tactic called using your bugs and wishes. Okay, hold on one second. So if you're using your bugs and wishes, that means, hey, what you're doing bugs me, and I wish you'd stop. Okay. Now, if you come up to a coach and you say, hey, so-and-so cut me. Okay, Aiden cut me in line and I didn't like it. we're going to ask you, well, did you use your bugs and wishes? Did you say, hey, that bugs me and I wish you'd stop? We're going to ask you if you did that first, because we want you to practice. Am I making sense so far? And everyone will nod their head. They'll say, yes. Okay, use your bugs and wishes. And coaches, you'll want to make sure you really use that. Hey, did you use your bugs and wishes? Make sure you ask that. Have them try and settle their disputes the whole camp week long. The next one is only go on obstacles when instructed. You all are doing a great job of that right now. You're all sitting here on these benches, ready to go, and you're ready to learn. You're not on any obstacles. And when I say, hey, it's time to get warmed up, or it's time to get jam on, let's jam, let's freestyle, that's going to be our time to get on our obstacles. And what our obstacles are, our vault boxes, our rails, our rail trainers, and I'll show all of these to the kids. Those are obstacles. All right, almost done here. Personal space bubble, everyone, even if we're close friends, even the coaches, we just ask that you respect everybody's personal space. Everyone has a different personal space bubble. There will be times when we're super close together in line today, getting ready to do our courses, doing our skills. And we just ask you respect everyone's personal space. Try not to bump into each other. Everybody keep your hands to yourself, your feet to yourself. We'll ask you not to roughhouse during open gyms. Try and keep your hands to yourself. And also keep your shoes and your clothing on, okay? If you get hot, you can take your jacket off, but please keep your shirts on. Now, this last one, I'm going to go over one more. And that is your job, your only job at this camp is to make sure the coaches have a good time. And I'll tell you why. Everyone will be like, what? And you'll say, I'll tell you why. Some of them will get it immediately. You'll say, if our job as a coach, our job is to make sure that you're safe. All of this is to make sure that you're safe and that you have a lot of fun. But we cannot do our job unless you do your job. And that's to make sure we have a good time. And how you do that is you just try on our activities. You have all been so generous with your listening. You've listened to me for about 20 minutes. This is the only time today I will ever take this much time from you. Okay. The rest of the time is going to be yours, really, except for when I'm explaining how to do a skill. But that I had such a good time giving these expectations today and sharing this with you, because you really showed me that I can expect this behavior from you and I can trust you now. And I know that we can have our games together and we're about to get into our free time together and I can trust you to be safe. So I really had a good time during this section. And how you have us have a good time during the games and the skills is you just try your best. Even if it's a game you may not have fun with, you never have to play a game. You can always come here to the cool off zone. But if you try it on, it makes us have a really good time. Now, where you're all sitting, this is the cool off zone. I just mentioned it. The only activity you can never skip is the warm up. And that's so that we can make sure that you have fun and you stay safe. But if you skip the warm up, we can't make sure that you stay safe. Okay. So you can't skip the warm up, but any other activity we do today, you can come right back here to the cool off zone. Okay. And you can hang out here. You can draw here. You can basically stretch here. You can read a book here. You can color here, but you can't do any parkour in the cool off zone. Okay. So this is just a hangout area. You can also eat your snack here if you have a snack. The last thing we're going to go over together before we go out onto the floor, those are all the expectations. But now I'm going to go over something that is my favorite part of the day. This is my absolute favorite part of the day. This is called the choices chart. And my favorite part of the day is talking to your parents at the end of the day. I like to tell them, man, Aiden made outstanding choices today. And I will stand at the door, Thomas, Michael, Aiden, Nathan, I will stand at that door as they come in to pick you up. And my favorite part is telling them how you behaved at camp today. And here's how you know how you're doing. Right now, see this green one where you're called Ready to Learn? That's where you're all at. Aiden, you're at Ready to Learn. Thomas, you're at Ready to Learn. Now, I would even say the way you've all listened today so generously is you've actually been making good choices. So I'm going to give you as a group a thumbs up right now. You've all made good choices. Now, this thumb up is important, everyone,
because the coaches today, we will give you a thumbs up, a sideways thumb, or a thumbs down. If you get a thumbs up from a coach, it's a big deal, because then you move up. Right now, I just gave you a thumbs up, so you've all been making good choices so far. You just moved up to being an example. If you get another one after that, you move up to outstanding, and that's when I really talk to your parents. And you'll come in tomorrow, and I'll ask whose parents were really proud of them, and you'll see a bunch of hands go up, everyone. So this is really important. Now let's talk about the other way. If you see a coach give you a sideways thumb or a thumbs down, most likely, now everyone listen, this is important. Most likely this is because you were doing something that either had you not being safe, or you were doing something that had the whole group, it affected the whole group somehow. So maybe the whole group, they stopped being able to learn because you were talking while a coach was talking to the whole group. So you may get a thumbs down if that happens. Maybe you'll move down to think about it. And that's because we want you to think about your choices. Now, notice think about it doesn't say you're in trouble. It doesn't say that. It says think about it. So we want you to think about your choices. Now, the next one is teacher's choice. If you get another thumbs down, we'll most likely sit you out. Now, you may move right to teacher's choice. You know, Nathan may say, hey, Michael, what you just did, you really almost just hurt yourself, or you just hurt someone else. I want you to go sit out. And that's because you're now at teacher's choice. We're choosing what you do. Usually you get to choose what you do here. Now we're choosing what you do. So you're going to go sit down. And most of the time you can move right back up the chart if you can just tell us why you sat out. Michael, why did I sit you out? Oh, you sat me out because I was talking while you were talking, and it was distracting the group. Thank you so much, Michael. You just got a thumbs up from me. You just moved right back up to making good choices. Get back on out. You ready to go back out and play? Yep, I sure am. Okay, good. Now, everyone, sometimes it has happened. I have had to do parent contact, and that's when, you know, you really just don't want to be here at camp, and that's okay. You do not have to be here, and you are not in trouble if you don't want to be here. And if at any time you want to go home, you can ask us to call your parents, and we can ask them to come pick you up. Okay, even though we have a lot of games planned and a lot of fun stuff, I'll understand. But please, if you do anything that hurts someone else purposefully, usually we'll just call your parents and have them come pick you up. I don't want to do that. Coach Nathan doesn't want to do that, but we will do that. Am I making sense? Okay, awesome. Now, my favorite part is telling your parents about your outstanding choices. Now, I'm going to pause right there, because that, if you have just done this correctly, that's the end of this expectation section right here. It takes about 25 to 30 minutes. It's a long section, and you do it every day. Okay, you do it every day, and the next day they go over the expectations. Hey, okay, someone raise your hand. Tell me an expectation you remember from yesterday. Yep, no sharing food. Nice, very good. Yep, make sure the coaches have fun. And it can go a lot faster, but you go over it every single day, and it really reinforces the behavior. And you refer to it all the time. If anyone goes off of that expectations at any time, you refer to it. And I even will stop skill sections or anything else that's happening here, and I will say, hey, I'm not having a good time. I stopped having a good time, guys, because we stopped listening. So can you guys bring your focus in? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm having a good time again. Let's get right back into it. So you can totally do that. Now, I'm just going to acknowledge at this point that we're 1 minute over the hour mark. I'm just going to briefly explain where to get this sheet, because this goes over the rest of the day. The rest of the day is very self-explanatory. It is a warm-up. So you do the warm-up together, a jam with the whole gym. And so you run through that. That's about 20 minutes. Then you do a snack break, about a 15-minute snack break. Then I like to split the group into two groups. We do 2 skills. So on the first day, we do safety vaults, while the second group is like basically coming up with a team name for themselves. They can like create their little badges, so they're in the warm-up area. Then they swap after that 20 minutes. Then we do a group game, and that can be any of these that I've listed here. I'll have a separate training for games. Then we do lunchtime. Then we do, hey, it's quiet time. Now I'll just briefly touch on quiet time. Quiet time is they have 15 minutes to just go and relax on a mat and nap after lunch and just recuperate. and you really set the tone for this. You really set the expectations for this, guys. No obstacles. Now, luckily, this doesn't require much explanation. If you've already done that expectations really well at the beginning of the day, you'll just say, this is what we're doing, and this is what to expect. And then about 10 minutes in, 15 minutes in, you can say, all right, everyone, it's group quiet time. Now guys can play board games. There's still no parkour, but you can hang out, you can talk together. Then you regroup everyone. And I love regrouping everyone for watching some parkour videos. If you have a computer or a TV, I watch like 15 to 20 minutes of some cool parkour videos that I just want to share with them. And I have a whole library if you need them. Then we warm up again, and then we do another jam for about 20 minutes. Then I regroup them with a game. You can play tag, hide and seek, mafia, bluff box, hangman, stick, anything you want to get them back in. Then we do a big game in the gym. Then we do one more jam, and then we do highs and lows, and that's it. And highs and lows is where you sit in a circle and you're just like, what was your high point of the day? What was your low point? That's as parents are coming in to just kind of hang out with them and just pick them up and see what's happening. And when the parents walk in and see all of the kids just like engaging and being like, oh yeah, that was the high point of my day, that was the low point, they'll really love that as they're picking their kids up. Okay, all right. So the materials you guys will get from this is the camp week format. I could spend a whole hour on each one of those boxes. Okay, so today I really wanted to get into just the expectations. So that's what we did, but we will, over time and over doing these camps with me, you will see how I run each section and how that creates just like the best experience possible for kids and for coaches. Okay, everyone, any questions, anything you want to say, anything that you're taking away from this workshop that we just did together, anything like that? Yeah, go for it, Michael, and then Nathan.
I had a question about the quiet time.
Yeah, please.
For the quiet time, do you have them do their quiet time in the cool off zone area, or like, where they play games, or do you allow them to sit around any part of the gym? Because wouldn't that leave them with some temptation to do parkour?
Yeah. So this is a really great question, Michael, and the answer goes right back to the value of trust. And I will even you'll see how I create quiet time section as like a camp activity. I will say something to the effect of, all right, everyone, you have shown me so much trust and integrity so far. I have really felt listened to as an instructor. So during quiet time, what that means is you can actually be out on the floor in the gym during quiet time. You can be on obstacles, like you can be on the taller obstacles laying down. You can be near the foam pit. You can hang out as long as you keep your volume down. You're not doing anything loud, no jumping, no climbing around, no flips or anything like that, no parkour whatsoever. But I trust you guys to do that. Or if your camp is especially rowdy, now's the time where you're like, hey guys, usually I would let you go out into the gym during quiet time, but today I've really have had to ask the group to focus a lot more than normal. So our quiet time is just going to be on the spring floor with these mats. And you can lay on a mat, you can be on the spring floor, but I need everybody to be right here. And we're using this quiet time as a way as well for the coaches to rest a bit. And so, this is a time to show the coaches that that we can trust you. And if you do really well during quiet time, we'll play a really fun game towards the end of the day today. I promise you guys. And that's making a meaningful promise that is tied directly to basically how you expect them to behave and their performance in the camp. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And if one person or just a couple people are the culprits for like during the quiet time, will you just address them, or will that affect the whole group?
Yep, I just address them. So I have both of the coaches can kind of just like rest with the kids during quiet time. They can just be like on a mat or in their chair. Now, you also tell kids, hey, you can be on a device during quiet time. And so they can be on their phone or their tablet just during this time. And if someone's really rowdy, a coach would walk right up to them and say, hey guys, this is your first warning. Your voice has gone like over the limit and it's distracting other people. I've had to come talk to you. I don't want to have to do that again. Okay. Can you guys keep it down for the rest of this time? It's just another 10 minutes. And they'll say, yep. Usually that'll solve it. If it doesn't, give them a thumbs down, let them know. And that's usually the end of it right there. You can sideways thumb and thumbs down. Thumbs up and thumbs down, guys. Like That is the fucking power. And you'll see, sorry to curse, but it's true. You'll see day two. Day two is I will come in and I will say during the expectations, all right, everyone, now raise your hand if your parents were super proud of you yesterday. And about half will go up. And the other kids will be like, oh, crap, he really talks to my parents, you know? And then that thumb carries so much weight. So during quiet time, if you just, those one or two kids, hey, nope. And then later you talk, hey, do you know why I gave you a thumbs down? Yeah, we were being too loud. Okay, nice. Hey, I'm going to take that thumb. I'm going to turn it right back around. You know, does that answer your question?
Yeah. And one last one, because for the chart thing, is the chart, do you have that chart like blown up so they see it? So
I do.
Referring to. Okay.
I do. I blow it up. I print it out before, it's like required material before every camp. And as I'm going through expectations, I have that taped up to the whiteboard and I just refer to it right at the end. Hey guys, see this? My favorite part of the day is telling your parents about outstanding choices. And I go through that whole thing I did.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And it got, like I said, if you just do this one section, right, it's like 25 to 30 minutes. The next day it's like 15 or 20. And you do it every day. They come to expect it. It's not a drag. It's like, it really is, hey guys, take creating our relationship together seriously. You know, that's what it is. So you run it like that. And the kids will get it on board. They will get on board and they will be like, yeah, this is how we do it here at Freedom in Motion. This is how we behave. And we respect the coaches and we trust them. And you'll see, dude, you will be shocked at how the children respond just to being included in that culture and respect, you know?
I really like Bugs and Wishes.
Yeah. Bugs and Wishes is great. Yeah. And that takes it out of your hands. You know, if you ever see a dispute between students, hey, two options as a coach. To the student that's being harassed, did you use your Bugs and Wishes? To the student harassing, hey, are you being a friend and not a bully right now? Are you being a friend? Try and be a friend. All right. We're trying to be a friend here. I know you didn't mean to hurt that person. You're probably just teasing them. You're probably just trying to have fun, but try and be a friend. Okay. Or I'll pick you up and break you. All right. I'll stuff you into one of the boxes here. You'll become one. You'll become one of our boxes. Yeah.
That's how we get our mats so squishy.
I'm going to bury you in the foam pit. And your parents will never find you.
If you're not nice, bad things will happen to you later in life.
You shouldn't say any of those things, but you can think them.
Yes.
That was just a list of things you shouldn't say to children.
Sorry, I had one more question. I was just hoping to leave because it's specific to Loma Linda. With our camps, because it seems like for your structure, you have two coaches on there, but are you also on there like as a camp director, or do you include yourself as one of the coaches, one of the two coaches?
I will be a third coach.
Okay.
Yeah, so it'll be like two coaches and me.
Okay. So that's kind of one of the issues in our camps is that usually they will put a lead coach, like a veteran coach, and they'll put a coach in training pretty much. And I feel like that really, really hampers the quality of the camp. Not that the coach in training shouldn't be there, but I think I mentioned this before where we're trying to run a camp and at the same time train someone. Yes. I feel like there should be one more person on there.
Yes.
Or like, you know what I mean? And
I do, Michael. And you're so right. And that's so important. And here's the thing is you saw how I took an hour just to basically explain one box of that checklist today. And I didn't go much in depth into the rest of the schedule. That's going to be a slow process to train. I need to find out which coaches basically are capable of creating and running a station or a game.
Yeah.
And we can break it down into those two categories, a station or a game.
Yeah.
And if we can train them in the stations, and there's only 5.
Yeah.
There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stations for skills. And if they can get trained in those 5 stations, you can trust them to run it. And then they can lead for that section. Then there's the group games. They get trained. You saw me running Guardians and Ninja Emperor. You train them in 5 games, and then you guys rotate. Hey, I'm going to lead skill. And then you as a coach should basically be leading like half the day, and the other half you should be chilling and assisting. And basically there are really specific sections of the day where you are just hanging the fuck out. And I'm not even kidding. Like, you have really showed the kids, hey, respect me. And for these 20 minutes, we're watching parkour videos, period, the end. You know what I mean? There's not an option to fuck around there. And so you get to rest. So those coaches are trained in the 5 skills, the 5 games, and then know which sections of the camp where you dedicatedly rest. And with that, it's a done deal. So we just got to find out who needs to get trained in what. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, definitely. And I guess I just wanted to bring that up since you have like, the new position and
Yep.
trying to implement all these programs. And so that's one of the problems that we've had in ours is that, again, it's okay that there's a training coach, a coach that needs to be trained, but I don't think it's okay when you have one coach leading the whole day.
Totally.
Coach, I think that's just overwhelming.
Yep. And that comes down to managing the schedule. So I would print off that schedule a day before the camp.
Yeah.
And I would go through as the camp director or the lead coach or whoever is most senior, maybe it's even the gym manager. And I would detail out who is leading what section and when. And when you are not leading, you're assisting the other section. You're making sure that the kids are listening, they know where to go. The bottlenecks on the courses and the skill stations are being taken care of. Assistant coaches, it's not like you're not doing anything, but lead coach is like, I just have to focus on leading this thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Michael, I'll train everyone in those distinctions. It won't take me long. I just need like a couple of hours for a few days before a camp starts, Cool. All right, everyone, that is it for today. I really appreciate you sticking around for like an extra 10 minutes there just to get your questions answered and dig into that a bit more. We will unfold this. We will continue to unfold this over time. Okay. So this is like the only thing you walk away from today is a clearer idea of how to set expectations in the beginning of the day, then you did your job by being here. Okay. If that's the only thing you got from today, that is perfect. And you will see how this like really transforms your experience as a coach and our students' experience as we get into it for spring break camps. All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Seriously, you could have been anywhere on a Friday at noon, eating lunch or doing whatever, and you were here in a conversation for how to become a better coach. I really appreciate that. Seriously. So thank you. And take care. That's it. You're welcome. Yeah, you're very welcome. I'll stick around if you have any other questions or any other comments, but that's it. I really appreciate you guys being here.